What is going on, guys? We're back with the Reverse Scoop Cricket Weekly podcast. Wait, Nabil. What's going on, Nabil?
Yo, what's up, Adam? What's going on, buddy? How you guys doing?
I'm doing good over here. I'm doing good. You doing good?
Good, man. Good. Another week here on Cricket Weekly. You know, exciting times. We got some spicy things to discuss tonight. You know,
spicy.
Yeah,
it's all happening.
Yeah.
Cricket's all happening.
Of course, I hear you like spicy
USA.
food. You know.
So. Oh, I love spicy food. I am all in the spicy food. Love spicy food.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. So we got some funny things up front and foremost. You know, we had our guy Peter Della Pena report. You know, the rejection of Good Morning America and Netflix. So major news, you know, because this is what we scream about here for the last year. And they had the opportunity. They didn't make it count. Why? What happened, Adam? What do you think happened, man?
So I guess we're going to preface what happened here. So we got, I guess, Nabil got some information from Peter Della Pena that after the Pakistan USA game, after USA won, they were offered an opportunity to go be on Good Morning America. And apparently Cricket USA turned that down. So what's that all about? Well, I mean, I feel like a lot of this stuff going on from the different organizations, whether it's the ICC or Cricket USA or even Cricket Australia, they're just like, no, we don't want to do anything we don't want to do. And I don't think they're big on promoting the game, you know, in a way that like really gets to the, you know, American cricket or the American sports fan. You know, they're just, no, we just want to do it for whatever. I don't know, whoever's lining whose pockets or whoever's doing whatever for whoever. I don't know. It was just weird. You would think that you would make national news and you'd want to make national news and promote the team and promote the win. And, you know, it was left up to folks like you and myself to post about it on social and people asking about it. And, well, maybe it was good they didn't post because people were coming to me for answers on how to play cricket and what was going on with Team USA. So, yeah. What are your thoughts on this?
I don't know, man. I mean, I think it's just a big missed opportunity. You know, you don't get these kind of chances over and over again. And there has to be some reasons why this was rejected. If there's, you know, truth to this, right? If there's truth to this, some reasons of why it could be rejected, right? I feel like there's things to uncover. There's things hidden from, you know, the normal public following USA cricket of what's really going on behind the scenes. Why don't we get, you know, consistent updates on things that are happening? But that's all in the bigger picture, right? But this missed opportunity, I feel like it, you know, could have taken us mainstream really in America, right? We've heard about or even seen the documentaries on Netflix, right? That relate to the golf swing. What is it called? Full swing and quarterback. Those are a couple a couple of Netflix documentaries that made a big impact. And there's one with the Formula One, which really put them on the map. And I think it could have done the same for cricket, right? But I'm just baffled of why, you know, this opportunity wasn't capitalized on, right? Some of the reasons for, let's get into first the Good Morning America, right? The Good Morning America, the official reason was that they didn't want to disrupt players' sleep training schedule ahead of the India match. And, you know, many believe players' nightlife habits may have been a bigger concern than actual rest. And, you know, the practice that following day was supposedly for 12 p.m. They were invited for 7 a.m. To go out and kind of, you know, do that interview in the morning time. But, you know, they didn't take up that offer. So just it talks about, like, you know, where the focus was, you know, during that entire Cricket World Cup when, you know, we could have capitalized on a major win against Pakistan and use these assets to actually, you know, blow the mainstream media with cricket. We didn't take up that opportunity. So I feel like it was probably looking at it from a perspective of maybe even being able to handle a bigger audience. I'm not sure if it was a lack of confidence or if there was ulterior motives in this. Um, but there was something. There had to be something
Yeah.
in this, or else why would we not take this opportunity?
I think a lot of it comes down. I don't know who was the one that said to press the button on the no, but a lot of what I pick up from all this we've covered over the past couple of months is like I think that's a lot of egos at the top down. Like I mentioned, like I'm some of the things that keep coming up is their nightlife and their partying and their after game things weren't liked by top down management. And I'm all for that. Like I'm all for them partying hard after that win, going Good Morning America. Skip the morning training, skip the training. Like what more training are you gonna do? You're preparing for the World Cup. It's not like if you're playing back to back to back days, like there's nothing you can do in that net session that next morning that's going to change your technique to a point where it would make an impact for the next game. Like some players like don't even want to have nets that morning. They want a couple throwdowns. Like some players want the full net, some people want the full training. Like is it necessary? No. Like and I'm going to come back to the documentary, the Michael Jordan documentary where I forget who the coach of that Bulls team was, but he was talking about how Rodman, was such a wild guy. He would go off partying, go to casinos, have crazy parties, and then he'd rock up to the game and play all out game. And he wouldn't come to training, and they would have him on not really not on a leash. They just let him do whatever as long as he got to the game on time. Do whatever he wants. And Bulls were one of the most successful franchises in the world. And that comes down to the coaches understanding the players and knowing what the players need to be at their best. It's not about what the coach needs of their players, it's what the players need. Because, we talked about, like, India went and put up all these rules on, you can't have the family here and you got to be on the bus to the game and restrict this and restrict that. And that doesn't really help the player, be a better person. Sometimes you got to let the person be the person, and they're going to show up and give you their best self on the game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
No.
I think it could be one of those things where they were just like, no, we're going to keep our regiment. We're going to keep our systems in place. We're not going to move away from that. And they let an opportunity go by.
It's mind-boggling, man. It's mind-boggling of why we would do that. Millions of viewers, and you have, they could have leveraged, and who knows what could have led to that, right? It could have led to sponsorship. It could have led to, funding from who knows where, right? To actually, use for things and infrastructure and USA Cricket. So, I feel like the control is probably what would have been at stake, if this went down, and somebody probably wasn't willing to give it. Is what I'm thinking.
No, the
It's probably
control.
because of
Yeah,
a
the
lack of
control.
execution. Yeah, it's got to be
Yeah.
that. But the USA beating Pakistan was a historic moment. It was the perfect time for us to capitalize, on mainstream coverage, as we said, and it could have been freaking huge, man. So really super
Yeah.
and mind boggled with
Well,
this.
that's out
And
of the
as we,
mainstream news. It kind of went to the off mainstream news.
yeah,
I was seeing everyone else other than mainstream news cover it. And
yeah, exactly. There appears to be a pattern here, right? There appears to be a pattern here, with USA Cricket of kind of swiping things under the rug. And I've noticed that over the years since, USA Cricket has been in charge. So I don't know why there's no transparency in the process with, your actual viewers, your audiences. And when you have a chance, like, uh, you know, getting an offer from Netflix, where Netflix wanted to create a behind the scenes documentary about Team USA's T20 World Cup journey, similar to Quarterback in Full Swing, right? This would have been it, man. Like, this would have brought in funding, sponsorships, major companies and investors could have seen cricket's potential. That would have brought more financial backing, right? So I think that's where we really, really missed out. And super sad for the growth of USA Cricket, because all we want to see here as USA Cricket fans, right, is see the game at the basic level, grassroots level, being played, so we can produce more, cricket stars in the future. And if we're not utilizing these things to get us back on track, to grow the grassroots and invest in that growth, then it's a big missed opportunity, as you know we've said a million times already. Because yeah, it was just huge, man, huge thing. And it talks about also handling PR, right? I mean, USA Cricket, has done okay with PR because they've tried to avoid a lot of the controversy or questions, and kind of blocking people out when necessary. But the growth obviously requires them being transparent. So like, what do they think they have to do, man, to kind of open that door up of transparency, all across the board?
Well, yeah, I think they need to be, held accountable and hold press conference and stuff like that. I think it comes down to the media not needing to know. Like, there's no one pushing them from the sports media to like get the answers for them. There's no one like knocking on their door. So like they're like holding the keys basically and letting everyone know what's going on. Whereas if you think about, cross over to all the other countries that do cricket, like they have media, all the news is covering it, all the, you know, whether it's the news agencies or the media or the TV, like they're all there trying to get an interview, trying to cover it. It's in the nightly news, it's in their whatever, their sports report. Something's happening. But in America, it's not the case. There's no ESPN, there's no Fox News, there's none of the big major networks at the games or even trying to get something from the coaches or the heads to, on the upcoming series. There's no real care there from the media. So it's only this, it's only us. It's only us, social media content creator coverages that are covering it. Peter doing most of the work, discovering all the things going on, and we do stuff when we can, mostly posting results and things like that. And people wouldn't have the information unless they had those creators that were making content about it, because I just don't think that they really care. And it's a little bit different from how the MLC is pushing it. I feel like the MLC is doing a lot of work to push the growth of the cricket, whereas Cricket USA isn't. And obviously the two are unrelated. They're not at all related. There's a lot of money been invested in the MLC, has all the international players coming over here. The growth of the grounds, like they're doing more for cricket in the USA than USA Cricket is for USA Cricket. Like it's a total opposite. They're hiding everything and keeping everything swept under the rug and behind closed doors. Whereas MLC is like they're gearing up for season 3 and exposure and trying to get more baseball fans and sports fans into cricket, whereas Cricket USA isn't.
Well, yeah, there's money backed, right, in Major League Cricket. It's obviously privately funded. A lot of the IPL, investments have come, here in Major League Cricket, right? And obviously, that investment is what protects, them. USA Cricket doesn't have, a funding of that nature that can, give them those types of resources. That's why I've been trying to beat a dead horse for so long, that they need their own private league. They need their own league owned by USA Cricket, just like any other country. Like PCB has a stake in PSL, BCCI has a stake in IPL. Australian cricket has a stake in Big Bash League. Bangladesh has a stake in their Bangladesh Premier League. That's how it really works. Here we're going the other way around, where they have the control, and USA Cricket doesn't have anything really. So I think it's actually, they're going to overtake the market clearly here, because they're doing a lot more work. It's money backed. Big investors like, Sundar Pichai from Google and, Microsoft, they've invested hundreds of millions of dollars.
Yeah, NVIDIA, yeah.
Yeah, so those guys obviously are not, dumb investors just sitting and looking at numbers. They know that they're going to get their money back somehow. There's a bigger plan. So they're trying to execute on that, and I think they will be successful. But I don't know how, effective it would be for USA Cricket, actually. If they don't have a stake in Major League Cricket and they can't have their local talent be part of all these major league teams, which is not necessary for Major League Cricket, right? They can get players from anywhere overseas really to come and put on a show. That's essentially what it is, right? But when the USA born players get that opportunity or get that ticket to be part of minor league teams, major league teams, that's when we actually step up a notch, because we open those pathways up for the next generation to come through. But right now I feel like everything is still blocked and controlled to the point where nothing is in your control. You just can only put your hard work, obviously, on the sidelines, all the players, and hope they may get a chance. So
Yeah. But I definitely
just
feel like
tough.
the MLC is making a good product. Their product is very good.
Yeah, the
Obviously it
product is good.
hasn't reached, crowd numbers that I'd probably like. That's obviously because the USA fan base isn't like as big. The classic American sports fan isn't really invested in it. But I would love to see them, they're obviously going to be doing well. They should be doing more and, almost double what they did last year. I think it's growing
Yeah.
exponentially, and with all the new stadiums cracking open, it's going to be a good year. But yeah, USA Cricket, who knows? They're on the road to Oman. They're heading over there to do what they're going to do over there and play their games and work their way to the 2027 World Cup. Do you want to touch on the squad announcements? I know the squad was announced. Then we'll get into what's going on with them in Oman.
Yeah, let's get into
Wherever
the
they're playing.
squad. The squad, they've announced, the ODI squad, and there's, I think 4 players will, replace them for the T20 leg of the tour. So
There's
the
a
squad
15-man
for
squad.
ICC Cricket World League 2 in Oman. Yeah, it's a 15-man squad. Let me bring it up on my screen if I can share my screen with you guys. Let's
Pretty sure
see.
everyone we had speculated to be on the team is on the team. We have good news that it's going to be an all-star team. So everyone's in play. We got Netravolka will be there. Hamid Singh will be there. Andreas Gauss will be there. Aaron Jones will be there. So yeah, full star squad, which is good. Here's up on the screen there. You guys can
We
see.
can take a look at the USA squad. Monang Patel, Andres Gauss, Aaron Jones, Milan Kumar, Smith Patel, Shayan Jahangir, Sai Teja Mukamala, Sanjay Krishnamurthy, Harmeet Singh, Noshtush Kenjige, Yasir Muhammad, Jesse Singh, Shadley Van Shalkwick, John Roy Drysdale, Saurabh Netravolkar. Rounds out the ODI squad, and I feel like they had announced the 4 players that would be a switch for the T20 leg, but I gotta find that. But this is the initial ODI squad. That would be playing against Namibia and Oman, I believe.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. I mean, yeah, from this squad, we're gonna have to get rid of 4 players there. That obviously aren't gonna play. I mean, I would like to see McLemara and Gauss open the batting. That's probably be what I would like to see there, and then probably Patel. I know I like him better in at 4 than in at 3, but you also got Aaron Jones in there, and I would probably put Jones in at 5 there. I think there's one we would fit one more batter up there into the 3rd slot. I don't know who you would recommend for that 3rd slot there, but then also you got to consider the bowlers. I think Jesse Singh's probably gonna. There's no Ali Khan or anything in there, so I think Jesse
Ali Khan
Singh
comes in for the T20 leg. So
that's what
Ali
it's gonna
Khan,
be. Yeah.
Stephen Taylor, Ali Sheikh, and Stephen Wig.
Okay.
Actually, get the call up. I think he's a Seattle Orcas player, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh yeah, no, I like that. I don't know what happened
Yeah.
to who there's the oh man, it's missed me. I don't know if the guy was selected that was playing over in Nepal, the keeper. That's he's lost me right now, his name. But yeah, I mean Netravolkar is gonna be amazing in there. Kenjige, they'll probably keep him in as they'll probably have 2 spinners, him with Harmeet. You have Jesse Singh in there, you have Harmeet, and then who else are you going to put in that middle order? Probably might have Van Kalfake and Sai in there. Probably Van Kalshake. What's he going to probably in at 7, something like that, maybe? Or who are you going to have in that middle order there? We got some options.
It's probably going to be Harmeet Singh at 7, I think. They're going to probably try and fit Harmeet Singh at 7 and Jesse Singh at 8. And then the rest of the guys, Shadley, John Roy Drysdale, and Saurabh Netravolkar.
So I think Drysdale would come in. It'd be one of the 4 that doesn't play.
Yeah, Drysdale's probably a guy that doesn't play. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, I would take Jesse Singh, and then I'd probably have Van Kalstate can bowl, so you might have him in there as an all rounder. And then that like 5th, 6th spot. I mean, I know Kumar had been doing a lot of batting over the past series in Nepal against Nepal and Scotland, so he might be in there. Isai might be in there. He came into good form at the end of last year, so I'd like to see him continue there. Yeah. So I think we
I
might be missing.
probably think, I think either because all of them have done well. The batsmen that they've selected, right? Monang Patel, Andres Gauss, Aaron Jones, Milan Kumar, Smith Patel, Shayan Jangir, Sai Tejamukamala, Sanjay Krishnamurti, also coming off a back of strong performances, right? So these are their top 7 guys, and I think 6 of them play out of here. So one guy has to miss out of these 7, and then you got Hermeet Singh, Noshtush Kinjige, and then Jesse Singh, Shadley, and Netravalkar. And then Yasser Muhammad, Drysdale, and Krishnamurti probably misses out, and you probably get the rest of the guys in there. Is what I'm seeing, in this lineup. But yeah, out of the 7 batters they've selected, I think 6 of them play. And then 2 all-rounders in Hermeet Singh and Shadley and Jesse, 3 all-rounders. Then you got Kenjige and Yasser Muhammad, and then Drysdale and Netravalkar. So just how the makeup, turns out for the team is going to be crucial here. But I think Hermeet Singh at 7, you can probably push that. He's good enough for that 7 spot. And then 8, 9, 10, and 11, they still need some type of ability there with the bats. So I think Shadley has to be in there because he brings a little bit, more with the bat, I think, than probably Drysdale and Netravalkar.
Yeah, I feel like honestly we're missing like a really top quality fast bowler.
Exactly.
I
Big
feel like
time.
that's the miss there. So I know Ali Khan. I'm not sure why he doesn't play in the ODIs. I mean, he's probably our quickest bowler.
He's the T20 specialist. He's injury prone, so I think it's good for him that he manages it. And when USA team needs him, he shows up and does his thing. He's going to be there for the T20 leg of the tour, where again Ali Khan, Stephen Taylor, Ali Sheikh, and Stephen Wigg, will replace 4 players to be named. So they haven't named which 4 players will leave the squad.
Yeah.
And
so I would say with that name, like McLemore would be dropped. Van Kouslake would get dropped. Maybe even I don't know.
Drysdale too, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, well, I don't think he'll even play he'll be in the 15-man squad. I don't think he'll play in the starting 11. I mean, Kenjige, he actually has the third most wickets inside of the CWC. So he's doing really well. There's no way they're dropping him.
Kenjige is solid, man. I like Kenjige. He's a hard worker, puts in a lot of work behind the scenes. So he's definitely,
best smile is best smile there. So for the viewers, we're going to talk about the road ahead for USA. Now, this CWC League is all in preparation for the 2027 World Cup, ODI World Cup. This is how USA qualify. Now, USA is in this League 2, the CWC League 2. This is in with the Netherlands, Canada, Scotland, Oman, Namibia, and 2 other nations. So right now in this pool of 8, to get through to the next stage, we need to be in the top 4. And currently we're the number 1 ranked team inside of this pool of 8, which is great. All you have to do is be top 4. And when this cycle finishes, if we're still in the top 4, we'll move to the next round. In the next round, we will play the 9th and 10th ranked ODI ICC teams. They will get pushed into our league because the top 8 teams automatically get ICC selection for the ODI World Cup. Now, Zimbabwe and South Africa get automatic qualification because they're hosting. So they're going to go straight through, which means South Africa comes out of the top 10. They get automatically in. So whoever is 9th in the ICC rankings will become the 8th ranked team, which I believe right now is the West Indies, or Bangladesh holds that position right now. So most likely we'll face the West Indies and Ireland will move into our pool, and then we'll have 4 other nations from the other league. There's a whole also other league. That's going to include some African nations and much lesser known nations. The top 4 from their league will move into our league. So there'll be a total of 10 teams in the next rounds. That'll probably be happening in 2026, or even it may start late 2020 of this year. And then the top 4 from that next pool will go forth to the 2027 World Cup. So as long as we keep winning our games and keep moving up the rankings there, and we'll move to the next stage. And then All we need is a couple of wins inside of that next pool and get top 4 again and roll over. We haven't got to win every game. We just got to win more than everyone else that are beneath us, and we roll into the World Cup. So it's definitely a possibility and a likelihood that if we keep going the way we're going, we're going to make the 2027 ODI World Cup. So that's where we're heading.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I think, it's a big opportunity, man. I mean, yeah.
And this is the big one.
Big opportunity for us to obviously, yeah.
Yeah, it's the most watched sporting event. Well, it's the second most watched sporting event in the world, the ODI World Cup. So, Super Bowl's this weekend. That comes in, I think, as the 4th highest viewed sporting event in the world each year. ODI Cricket World Cup comes in at the 2nd or 3rd placed position. So obviously the FIFA World Cup is the number 1, but it's going to be great exposure for us again to be on that world stage and to be up against some nations for another big upset. Have another versus Pakistan incident, and that obviously if we make that 2027 World Cup, that really sets a huge platform leading into the Olympics, because the Olympics will follow that year. And then USA will host the Olympics for cricket, and that'll be the first time cricket will be in the Olympics for whatever 100 years or so. Cricket's been in the Olympics, so it's going to be very good. And we get automatic qualification for the
long time wait, man.
Yeah, we get automatic qualification for the T20 World Cup because we've made Super 8.
Absolutely, man.
It's all looking good. It's all looking good. Yeah,
absolutely, man. I mean, you talk about like other countries, that have been putting so much effort, other associate nations, but I know for even ICC, USA Cricket has been a big market that they've been, trying to tap for a long time, right? And they wanted to obviously figure out how to actually approach, and find their own space within, the American realm of sports. And I think they've somewhat succeeded with Major League Cricket's success, right? And the future is obviously only bright because now it's going to bring more funding potentially, for USA Cricket players here, because it gives them a pathway, right? Not just potentially only to play for USA Cricket, but to have a pathway to play for Major League and be a role model for kids here, which I think is what we need. We need more stars. We need cricket stars born and bred here, and I think they're in the pipeline, in the under 19 pipelines and the next generation. We've got a lot of great players, that are coming up through the ranks. So I'm truly excited to looking forward to these guys, and hopefully we see some of them in the 2027 World Cup. The lineup, I hope, continues to evolve. That we have some good players, but we need still improvement. As you said, fast bowlers, we're lacking across the board. So what can we do to produce good fast bowlers? What can we do to produce good batsmen? What can we do to produce good all-rounders? And
well, it's one of those things where one of those things where we have a nation built on fast pitches. We literally we're like, we crank out pitches in baseball that can do 100 miles an hour, and those mechanics in baseball obviously you can't bowl with a bent arm, but cricketers go to baseball for their throwing and their technique and their arm flexibility and arm strength. And if we were able to channel that energy that goes into baseball to make baseball happen, if we were to channel that energy into cricket bowling, we could crank out some of the best bowlers, the fastest bowlers in the world, like next level. There's science and the mechanics and the money in behind baseball. Just do it with a straight arm. Teach them how to run in and throw with a straight arm. Like, it's there.
Yeah, it's like 3 Olympic sports combined, man. As the fast bowling coach Stefan Jones puts it, it's a sprint with a high jump and a javelin throw. So it's
pretty
not
much.
Fast bowling is not easy, man. He's the best fast bowling coach in the world. Stefan Jones, shout out to him. Check out his academy. Pace Labs. Pace Labs, you can check it out on Instagram. He does a lot of content. If you want to increase your pace and want to bowl faster, he talks about the proper mechanics for fast bowlers. And I've done an interview on the pod with him. You guys can check it out on the Reverse Scoop homepage on the YouTube channel, and you'll see that conversation, and it'll be enlightening to you. That's some of the things that he talks about, and some of the mindset of the super fast bowlers, that he worked with, Shoaib Akhtar being one of them. He was like, the guy was just like a Formula One race car. He wanted to bowl fast, as fast as he could, and he was happy doing it for 4 or 5 years. He wasn't worried about, pushing his career 10 years, 15 years, and being mediocre for the rest of his career. He was like, no, I got just 5 years of solid firepower in me. I'm just going to push it. So just those mechanics that he worked with those guys and picked up with him being a professional fast bowler himself. Just he puts it in such a scientific way that he gets you results. So definitely check him out, guys, if you're looking to improve your pace and fast bowling.
Yeah, I mean, I brought out the seamers this weekend. Got in the net session, good first net session
Nice.
in. It was actually second net session of the year.
Nice.
And I had the camera out and the side camera out because I wanted to check my own technique and work on
Yeah.
getting a little quicker. And from watching a lot of stuff, I went and watched some footage of Brett Lee and some of the best bowlers in the world. And obviously the key from the ground up is that having that front leg straight. They're the fastest bowlers in the world bowl with that straight front leg. People that collapse their front knee, they lose all their power.
Yeah.
From moving through the crease like that. But also the biggest thing is if you watch the really fast bowlers like Brett Lee, Shoaib Akhtar, they actually have the flexion in their shoulder and the mobility they have in their shoulder allows their shoulder and their arm to go back. So even here, it's like if I put my arm up straight, I can't get it very far back. But
The load up.
It's having these muscles here be able to stretch back far enough, and they're strong enough but flexible enough, so you have enough mobility in your shoulder to get that shoulder to cock backwards, so that it actually like catapults forward. Because that tightness in the shoulder, it stops you from being able to get that ball further back, and the further you can get the ball back, which means the more leverage you have when you fly it forward. So it's interesting looking at, like, if you look at a technique versus like Josh Hazelwood versus Brett Lee, and Brett Lee's arm is so far behind him when he impacts his leg, whereas most of these bowlers, these upright bowlers, release their ball right above their head. Well, they have their arm only comes back like straight up past their ear, and it's yes, if you want to get that quick bowling, you got to really get that arm back there.
Get your load up right, and then obviously use your non-bowling arm as well, right? Use that to good effect, because I feel like a lot of bowlers don't focus enough on that non-bowling arm and the impact that it creates in your accuracy and your ability to land where you're trying to land the ball, right? And obviously getting you through the follow-up, through the crease. That non-bowling arm really helps you, with all of those things. So I feel like if you start focused a little bit on, that non-bowling arm, you already become a better bowler. By a little bit if you're not doing that.
And the biggest thing to push out there for the young viewers that are running in, like getting into fast bowling, it's not about how fast you bowl. It's like, especially when you're young, it's how much you can swing the ball. If you can swing the ball, especially swing the ball in, that's where it's at. Because when you get to a certain point, this bowling fast, like they're going to pick it up and hit it. And if you're not able to swing the ball, you're just hitting a good length or just hitting any length, it's going to get hit. Like it's the swing that's going to get you caught up on the crease. It's going to get the batter nicking away or straight through the gate. So work on that swing, get that ball to bend. And it is quite unfortunate here that in the USA they don't play with red balls. Like we only play white ball cricket. I don't know if you've played red ball cricket, but here I've only played.
They play red ball cricket, but mostly now everything's switched to white ball, and there's still in New York red ball leagues, and across America, you'll see 40 over leagues being red ball cricket.
Because red ball is completely different. It's completely different. Like
very different.
To put it in perspective, for the American viewers that aren't, or if you're not familiar with how the balls work, obviously the aerodynamics of the ball is different than baseball, but the shine on the white ball comes off so much quicker. Like if that ball is swinging for 2 overs max, like you're not swinging that third, maybe 4 overs you can push it, but after that 5th over, there's no more swing. The swing is gone off that ball. The shine's off the ball. But on a red ball, you can keep that ball swinging for 10, 12 overs, significantly. It makes a big difference.
the lacquer doesn't come off as easy if it's a decent,
Yeah.
quality red ball. So, you can maintain the shine of it for a longer period and have actually red ball swings more once the lacquer is off, right? So once the lacquer comes off and you actually have taken care of the ball, it actually, swings, when it's a little bit old, even like 5, 10 overs old, it has a different swing it will offer to you.
Yeah.
Opposed to white ball cricket is totally gone, after a
Totally
few
good.
overs of attention. Yeah, yeah. So red ball cricket's fun, man. I enjoy red ball cricket, but there's obviously not much here. In Karachi, I went back, played a lot of red ball cricket. Shout out to the Karachi Kashmir Fighters Club. Really good bunch of guys. Had a good time out there playing a bunch of cricket with them. So USA League 2, man, T20 International we discussed versus Oman and Namibia. There was a drop of a player, Utkarsh Srivatsava. He's had some strong performances in the previous series and has done well. Any particular reason you think he was dropped? Because I think he probably deserved a chance to be in the squad, man. Got some really strong performances.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, I know like they can only pick 15 players, so I don't know what the thing is there. I know it, like we said, it seemed like that top order was kind of like a boys' club, and you have to consider that you could call it a drop, but the last two series against Nepal and Scotland, it wasn't all-star Team USA. There was no Gauss, there was no Netravolka, there was no Hamid Singh, there was no that was probably the big three, no Jones. So those four didn't play in the last Nepal or Scotland series. So having those guys back means that someone's got to get dropped. So
Yeah.
that's probably something there. I wouldn't really
Yeah, I
call it
feel
a
like it
drop.
was one of those things like, dude, you're the youngest, you sit out.
Yeah, yeah. It's not really a drop. It's just like, while those guys were away, Gas was playing over in Nepal.
Yeah,
Jones, he
yeah,
played the Caribbean League, and then he was touring around. And Netravolker, I think, took some time off because he had a newborn child. So, all of that considering now they're going back with a full strength team after the Christmas break, they're going to go all-star team from now on. So, because you have to consider also like towards that end of that Nepal Scotland series, they'd been playing basically all year. They'd come off the T20 World Cup, they rolled into MLC, and then after that, I think the big stars were like, "We're gonna take a break, and everyone else can roll into it." So
yeah. But what matters like more in selection, Adam, to you? Is it the actual names that have done well previously for USA Cricket, or is it current forms of the players of how they've done in recent times, right? Because obviously you got to put things in perspective for everybody, and if the performances are not there, for no matter whoever the player is, you sit him out. You bench him out for a few games, but you make sure the guys that are in form, that are in rhythm, they're consistently getting game time, right? I mean, that's what my outlook would be, but do you agree with that? Like, does that make sense?
yeah, I mean, I think the issue that we have is that there's no lockdown of position. So
Yeah,
unlike, let's take for example, regular cricket, Australian cricket team, right? That's a solid. We know who's in that team, who's not in that team, and you're fighting over the position to be vacated through retirement or through form. Lack of form, like Mitch Marsh got dropped, lack of form. Bo Webster comes in. David Warner retires. They go with McSweeney. Didn't work. He shouldn't have been there. Bring Qantas in. That worked. Okay. So that's the difference in those fully set teams. So in my American team, I'm big on having like Patel being in at 4. I know it's sometimes he opens, sometimes he's coming in at 3, sometimes he's coming in probably 1, 2, 3, or 4. He's batting, but I'm big on him coming in at 4. I like
yeah,
having someone else out there, opening up like Gauss and McLemore. I'm liking them to open. Jones, he could come in at 3 or 5. I prefer him coming in at 5. I want him a little bit later. I feel like Jones is like a Maxwell. I feel like Jones is one of those guys where you put him in the pressure situation at the end of the game, he
yeah,
can pull it out for you, but sometimes it doesn't work out if a few wickets go down too early. Obviously a great player, did so good against Canada and against Pakistan, and obviously Maxwell scores 100 against Or did he score 200 against Afghanistan or 100 against Afghanistan? When he did have any legs, he got leg cramps. It won Australia the game.
200 man on one
200, 200, 100. Like, that's incredible. But like,
that was
but then you can go back and go look at
the best
Maxwell's
ODI
scores
inning ever.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. But there's like some of those times where he gets a duck. Like he can also go out there and get a duck as well as going out and scoring 200. Same like Jones. Jones, when it had the game against Canada, scored big runs. Had the game against Pakistan, big runs, and then a game against South Africa gets a duck, or he gets like 3 or 4 runs. Like, so I'll knock him down the order at 4 or 5.
Yeah, the consistency obviously is lacked. I mean, the guys who play with a higher, risk cricket, they'll probably, will come off, once every like 10 games, is what, especially if they're batting like anywhere between 4 to 6, and if they have to close out games and have to finish games, right? Because that role in T20 cricket is probably the toughest role to fill for any batsman, right? And back in the day, when I think about it, somebody who I grew up watching was, Shahid Afridi, right? Shahid Afridi was a guy who had the fastest century in ODI cricket, 37 ball 100, and he announced himself in 1996, but we knew how far and few between his performances were, even though he had a pretty good record, came into the team as a leg spinner, and then dominated with the bat for the first 3-4 years of his career until he fully became a leg spinner and then, a middle lower order batter. But, these kind of guys that play high risk cricket are going to be, susceptible to having long stretches of, not scoring. But when they come off, they can potentially just save you on their own 2 shoulders, like Maxwell did, right? When he played that innings, I mean, if he wouldn't have done that, who knows if Australia would have won that World Cup.
We wouldn't. What was that? Would have been that was up. We would have been knocked out. Would have been knocked out,
exactly.
And that's what we're saying. Like, there is a reality where Afghanistan beat us in the coming up Champions Trophy because Maxwell on his back beat Afghanistan. If Maxwell gets out at any point, if he gets out for 1, if he gets out for 101, we lose that game. He had to score 200 to win that game for us, which is absolutely crazy.
See, in cricket, bro, the way I look at it, right, you have to look at match-winning abilities. If the guy's proven his match-winning abilities, and he plays within that role 4 to 6 and has to finish games, then you always are going to have him in the lineup, right? Because that's the hardest thing to come and do, and you don't want to have that guy low on confidence when you really need him to come through. So I feel like Aaron Jones is a guy that can pull that role off for us. We may need, a couple other hitters that can do the job. I don't know what happened to Corey Anderson. He had come and done all right for that World Cup.
Corey Anderson thing. I believe Corey Anderson has taken a step back and he's on the board. He's on the board of I believe the MLC board. He's on the board of something. I saw him. He's moved to a board position. Yeah, I think he's moved into a more administrative role. And I think he is probably just going to play franchise cricket for the Unicorns and working in a board role. So I think that is what he's going to do. I think because he's not the youngest, player out there. So, you know what I mean? I think he's going to be happy playing franchise cricket. I think he's going to be happy playing for the Unicorns. I think he's taking a board role. We'll look into it more for next week, but I did see that he took on a board role. I don't know if it was in it was in USA or some sort of USA governing body. But yes, I think he's moving into a little bit more of that role rather than playing international cricket. Maybe they bring him in. Maybe he gets selected or is available for the next T20 World Cup potentially, but I think he's just moving to play franchise cricket now. I think which would be fun. I mean, he had a really good season last year playing for the Unicorns, and I mean, who wouldn't want to? I don't want to say resurrect their career, but obviously, he played for New Zealand, and now he had the opportunity to play in America, and now being an American citizen also. Who wouldn't want to captain one of the MLC sides and, play with Cummins and who else, Liam Plunkett, whoever else is with them in the team. It's a fun gig. It's a fun job. I think I'd take that job. That's a good gig right there.
Yeah, no, absolutely, man. I think, him being part of that World Cup squad and whatever was happening behind the scenes, in the dressing room with the team, there was, some drama there, right? With Stuart Law and the guys. And I feel like he was just like, dude, let me step away quietly, like just go into the background and disappear,
Yeah,
without really anything. Cause I think it's a smart move. I think it's a smart move by him because, he's seen what we haven't seen. So, and he's probably like, man, this is a better option for me to go and be, with MLC where the money is invested. Um,
yeah,
and he sees his future there. And I think he's right. The USA Cricket future, is with MLC at this point. Because again, USA Cricket, is doing great things again with the resources they have, but they're not capitalizing on opportunities, that they should. And for whatever reasons, only God knows, and these USA admins know, why we didn't do this Netflix documentary or do the Good Morning America shows, and you know, keeping everything away from the mainstream media, and I feel like that's still happening through their social media strategies and, getting the information, on timely and on a transparent mode. And here's a thing, right? For, USA Cricket squad announcement and the timing, right? And the squad announcement for the Oman tour was posted at 4:33 a.m. New York time, 3:33 a.m. Texas time, and 1:33 a.m. California time, but 3:03 p.m. Mumbai time.
oh
So
wow.
so you tell me who are their target audience, right? Like it's pretty clear to whoever's managing their social medias, to whatever information and news that's coming out. Um, it's geared towards, an Indian market, which is, fine, but at least
Well, no,
have
no,
the
not really.
information. Yeah, not really, I guess, but all the money's coming from there. So I feel like, the our audience and, our team makeup and, everything from that point, you can see the audience that we're trying to gear towards, and even the MLC audience, right? They want to have more IPLs essentially across the world so they can, just keep on having those events and rake the money in. But I think again, it's not good for USA Cricket, but they got to make these changes, man. They got to make sure that at least get the information to your American viewers and American fans, and grow your audience here. And get more diversity going in the entire setup. I like the new CEO coming in. I think it's a good experienced guy, and having somebody like that at CEO, I think adds a lot of value because he's been part of major cricketing, nations as their head, and I think he brings in some good things across the board. So I think John Atkinson is his name, right? The CEO.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, I think it's some good things on the horizon with USA Cricket. I just wished we had done this, at least an NFL documentary. And you guys let us know in the comments, if you guys think would a Netflix documentary have done, for cricket in the USA, like what Drive to Survive did for Formula One. So that was the documentary,
Well, think about,
Formula
even if
One
you
Drive
think
to
about
Survive.
not the Netflix documentary, but think about the Prime documentary, the one for the Australian
Yeah,
cricket team, the with the Test match, or what was it called, the Test?
yeah,
That was an incredible series. That did
yeah,
very well. A lot
yeah.
of people reference that. A
That
lot of
one,
people love that, and a lot of even Americans tuned in to watch that. I was posting a lot about that and referencing it, and people found it naturally on the Prime there, and that was such a great series. And I think, imagine if we had those cameras in the dressing rooms during the World Cup for that win.
would have been
That would be
insane, man. It would have been
insane.
insane,
Yeah.
and they actually went with the Pakistan India rivalry documentary. I don't know if you saw that on
Oh
Netflix. I
yeah.
think I think it's launched and it's getting crazy views, right? So I believe they probably made them this offer before that Pakistan India rivalry
Probably.
documentary, right?
Probably.
So I still am boggled, bro. Like this would
But
have
again,
done
it's
so much
like the
good.
money is all in Pakistan, India, because like I said, you go, the Super Bowl is going to bring 120, 150 million views are going to tune in for Super Bowl, right? Well,
Yeah.
The World Cup final, India Australia had over 300 million, and they believe that the group match, the T20 group match between Pakistan and India, had 400 million, just the group stage match.
Ooh.
So that's like the numbers that come out of those two names. You know, obviously it's a huge thing over there. You got a billion and billion plus over there if you include Pakistan in the mix. You know, it's just massive, just massive for them. And like I said,
man.
the thing is, they don't. I don't. It's not just USA Cricket. You know, it's Cricket Australia. It's the ICC. A lot of people out here doing good work spreading the game of cricket are getting banned. Like we've talked about. Oh, I don't know if we talked about it too much, but like I got hit. I'm going to talk about this. I got hit with the big ban from Cricket Australia. Cricket Australia came after me like, ban 33 copyright strikes. We don't want you talking about or covering cricket. I'm like, I'm a cricket journalist. I'm covering the games. I am talking about the games. I am sharing them to a nation that doesn't have this. They don't have access to the free to air coverage of the games. Shut all that down.
Yeah.
You know, and you think about John Boy. He had videos removed from YouTube, you know, from the World Cup and the T20 and whatever. All of his highlights got a lot of views got taken down, you know, millions of views. You know, I had millions of views taken down. He had millions of views taken down. You know, and you think about other codes that are doing things here. Like I'm a big rugby league fan. People can see in the background, I have all these rugby balls, my Australian rugby league team. The rugby league is coming to the USA. They're having a whole big thing in Las Vegas, and they got Gronk to promote it. Like Gronk's promoting it. They're talking about it on the NFL. Like the NFL and NFL players and NFL teams are talking about Australian Rugby League coming to America for this big tournament they're going to have their like their first couple of games here. And it's like, why isn't Major League Baseball getting on board with cricket to do the same thing? It's like, you know, it looks like Gronk is the spokesperson. He's like, have you seen rugby league? It's like the hits are big and this is fast and this is that. You're going to love it. Come to Las Vegas, March. It's going to be the best thing ever. It's like, where is that for cricket? Like that could be there. You could get any Major League Baseball player to just do the same thing. It'd be like, oh, have you seen the big hits in cricket? Have you seen the bowlers, how the bounce they get? Like, oh, they're doing a tournament here, like blah, blah, blah. Like
they did something cool during the World Cup with Jasprit Bumrah, where they had the Dallas Cowboys defensive end, you know, try cricket, and Jasprit Bumrah tried to teach him. So that was something good. You know, we need to see more engagement like that across baseball, across football, across all their sports, right? But again, I think it comes back to USA Cricket's, you know, PR and marketing strategy, which I think, you know, needs a big fix.
It's an Indian marketing strategy. It's not an American marketing strategy.
I feel like if their strategy was to actually grow their audience or their viewership base, you know, here, they would do these strategies. They would have Netflix do the documentary. They would, you know, be like, all right, let's go to Good Morning America. But, you know, since we're trying to not have the growth kind of, you know, go super fast, it's probably because, you know, they think they may not be able to sustain that growth and they may come down as fast as they may go up. But, you know, cricket comes in waves, man. You know, so you take the good with the bad. When you're on the high, capitalize on it, you know, and take the opportunities that, you know, we have in front of us. So, you know, the PR and marketing thing, how can we fix it, Adam? You know, let's ask this all the viewers that are watching us, you know, how can USA Cricket fix its PR and marketing strategy? What are some ideas and thoughts?
It's plain and simple. The plain and simple marketing strategy here is they need to be on ESPN and Fox Sports. Like it has to be on major news networks, has to be on major sports networks. It has to be talked about. You know, like Pat McAfee mentioned cricket the other day on his show. I took a clip of that. They were talking about something totally off topic, which I can't even mention on the show, but they somehow related it back to cricket. And they're like, and then he literally got out of the box or got out of his studio, and they had cameras up in the roof, and he was running through the basketball court, and he was practicing his bowling. It was actually pretty good. It wasn't the worst American I've seen bowl. But yeah, they were talking about cricket, and they were talking about Jimmy Anderson. And I was like, how do they even know who Jimmy Anderson is? How do they know about this? Apparently, JJ Watt has stake in a soccer team in England. So, and it's in the same town that Jimmy Anderson's from. So they knew who Jimmy Anderson was. So it's like people know about it. But I mean, it's like, imagine if they got a segment on a Pat McAfee. Like, instead of just talking NFL, instead of just talking baseball, like these big networks had a slot for cricket, like have a slot for lacrosse, have a slot for cricket, have a slot for all the sports that are going on here across USA. Like, it's a big country, a lot of sports going on. It doesn't just have to be football and baseball. There can be other things going on. And all it takes is just one person to say something, which starts a chain, because it's just how things are. Like, people don't like change too much. So, like, it's not like they have to go out of their way to get cricket news.
Yeah.
You can just put it on the actual news, and Cricket USA made a big push to like have it on sports media. Then it's going to be in everyone's face, and everyone's going to be paying more attention to it. That's
exactly, man. I mean, there's no
ask,
content strategy, obviously. Content is we've spoken about, right? The recent content we saw in the women's under-19 World Cup for the USA, right? It's set to be, it's been organized by the players and the parents, and it's been, like a thing with all of them involved. And, USA Cricket didn't, have a lot to do with it, which is, which sucks, because obviously we need, more, media managers being part of USA Cricket across the board and all their teams, either women and men's. So, they can at least have guidelines on how to actually grow their own personal brands, first of all, and then be able to market themselves to, an audience here to grow the game and have, viewership around those players that, can be followed in these matches. And I think that's, an opportunity that I feel like a lot of countries may not have, because a lot of countries, either lack one thing or another, either a lack of resources or a lack of knowledge or lack of interest. Here I feel like you have all of those things where, you have probably, the younger generation really interested in doing the content, doing all of that stuff. But they're probably not being taught the right way, or maybe being controlled in a sense to, not do it this way or not do it this way. Make sure you don't talk about this or you don't talk about that. Essentially not letting them be themselves, right? When it comes to being a professional. But I feel like, these things can be taught from an early age of how to actually hold yourself and do good on camera with, your employer and with, all your audience, and keeping everything intact. But, are we doing enough to, teach everybody? I don't think so. Right now, there's no social media strategy. I feel like the posts that we get, is just when they feel like it's the right time for them to, post and not get much airtime, essentially. Because they know that, hey, this is going to get a couple days of airtime, and they'll start playing matches, and then something else will, get down the pipeline. So,
I'm
I feel like there's a lot to unfold.
Yeah, I think through the games, they were pretty good during the Women's World Cup to be posting, like, the pregame post, halfway post, and then a wrap post. And they were shouting out any of the players that did really well with wicket hauls or with runs scored. So you do expect to see that happening. But yeah, in the in-between time, they could be doing a lot more for promoting players, getting players spotlighted stuff. I think one of the best ones I've seen so far from an organization is actually the Freedom. The Freedom did a sit-down series where they sat down with all the players, did some interviews with them, and they released those. And they even sat down with Ricky Ponting also. And I think they did got a good insight into a lot of the players. So I think that's something that they probably should be doing as well, is like having sit downs with the players and learning a bit more about the players, and the players themselves have each doing something. Like, I mean, Hamid Singh's good about posting his own stuff and sharing people's posts and tagging people, or reposting people's stuff that tag him, and he'll post personal photos of him just like hanging out with his family or whatever he's doing on his Instagram story, which is good, but that's not obviously all of them. They're not all doing that. But yeah, I think all athletes,
that's at the minimum, right? You need at least these guys to show their personalities and talk to their audience like they're talk to their, people in their life, like their friends or, their coaches or whoever. So like they have to come off natural with their personalities to be able to, come out on social media and be on camera and, talk what they think about, share their interests, and do all of that so their personalities can be seen. I feel like it's all, kind of blocked off, either from the, knowledge aspect for these players, or maybe the admins just saying, hey, we'll kind of get this under control when we want to kind of do it. So even though they can give players certain level of control and have them do content on USA Cricket, use their leverage and grow their audience, but it's not hard. When you have all these national players as your assets and you take them to a couple of trainings to teach them how to do proper content, and all that combined effort can lead to so much more views for USA Cricket all across the board, but there's no coherent strategy. I feel like, it's
Yeah,
just,
definitely.
throwing, darts blindly, and asking for
Yeah.
something to stick. Um, but we hope to see better things, man. But we're on top of that hour mark. If you guys have any questions, drop them in the comments. Let us know if you guys have any ideas on how USA Cricket can fix its PR and marketing strategy, right? Because rejecting Netflix and Good Morning America appears to be a big missed opportunity for USA Cricket. And let us know if you guys think that was the right move and why you think their reasons. What reasons could it be? For this rejection, by USA Cricket. So we've discussed many of them tonight. If you guys have any other ideas, any questions, drop them into the comments. Let us know. And we'll give you guys your answers if we can, or on the following, next week's episode. Absolutely check out our membership sections that supports youth cricket development on the grassroots level. A couple other announcements. We have an announcement from New Milford Cricket Club entering and taking part in New York National Cricket League this season, Premier Division 2025, 30 overs. So we're going to be giving a lot of our youngsters opportunity to go out and play, higher level cricket out in New York. So shout out to everybody, involved. And what else we had? We also had an announcement with Adam's podcast. So I want to make sure we, bring that up. So Adam, if you want to take a minute, bro, and talk about your What a Take and, your podcast that will be coming out soon.
It's rolling out. Yeah. So Adam Bannon Cricket Podcast is coming out soon to probably dropping within the next 2 weeks. Maybe by next podcast, we'll have a solid date there. But yes, no, the What a Take is kind of the goal is to kind of have more of a sports all round take. So like basically a daily drop in on like what's happening in the world of sports, my take on the world of sports. There's many different things that that I follow, whether it's the rugby league, the NFL, the baseball, the tennis, golf, the cricket, it's all part of what I talk about. And during all those, there's generally some things flying around that I have opinions about. So that's the What a Take. And then the Adam Banter Cricket Podcast is just basically getting into cricketers, cricket content creators, finding out their stories, having good conversations. And yeah, you guys can tune in. The YouTube is up. My new YouTube is up. You can search Adam Bannon Cricket USA for the YouTube channel, and the podcast will be up on there soon.
Absolutely. We'll drop some links after the recording is ended with the new channel for Adam, and looking forward to doing some content there as well, because it's going to be some fun things that Adam's going to be bringing on. Obviously, getting away from TikTok, a little bit. He's grown that TikTok, or outgrown the TikTok, let's say, because of those strikes, right?
Oh man, yeah, I'm gonna talk about it this week. I mean, it's just one of those things where it's worse that it's like my home country, like the country that I grew up in, that taught me cricket. I come over to America, I start teaching Americans cricket, and they're like, nope, we don't want you to do that. Nope, we're gonna take those videos down. Okay. Well, then I won't talk about Australian cricket anymore. I'll talk about everything else other than Australian cricket. But the thing that you are allowed to do through copyright is you are allowed to criticize. So any videos that I criticize Cricket Australia, they actually didn't take those down because I'm allowed to criticize. So I will only be criticizing Australian cricket. I will not be at any point reviewing or educating. I will only be criticizing. That's the only thing I will be doing. That's how
Well,
much
you're
time
our Australian analyst, man. When this champion trophy comes, we're gonna be doing a lot of analysis, you know.
Oh man, I can't
we
wait.
got our West Indies analyst too on here, Mark Audane, who just joined us in the comments and saying idiots to somebody in the title of this video. So
Oh, man.
so yeah, you know, Mark, welcome on board, man. We got some content to do as well on some West Indies cricket. You know, he's got an amazing followingship in from the Caribbean, does a lot of good work with the kids. Check out MSDA. You know, his website is up as well. So if you guys, you know, need cricket products out here in the Northeast, check out Mark's audience stuff. It's you know, awesome. And you know, he supports a lot of the youth cricketers, you know, back you know, in the Caribbean. So you know, gives back. So absolutely, you know, deserves a checkout and a look in from you guys if you guys are looking for good, high quality cricket gear. So yeah, I think that's all we had for tonight, man. You got anything else, Adam, that you want to bring up, man?
That's a wrap. No, we're just gearing up for the Oman game that's coming up next week, I believe.
Champions
the Oman
Trophy.
game is,
Champions Trophy on the horizon.
And Champions Trophy. It's going to be happening all basically the same week. So
I think next week we do like a rundown of all the Champions Trophy you know, matchups and see what we
predictions and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. And who knows, we get more spicy news, you know, from
more spicy
from USD cricket. You know, we got our guy Peter reporting, you know, always finding the best stuff, you know, out there. And you know, so I you know, follow him along as well on Facebook, Peter Della Penna. Follow Aman Patel, Nate Hayes, Big Innings Podcast, you know, all the content creators that are doing amazing work, you know, here in the USA, creating content and growing the market. So you guys are all true heroes. So, you know, absolutely check everybody out. And Adam, thanks again, man, for another successful episode 21 of Cricket Weekly on the Reverse Scoop. And until next time, you know, Nabil Khan and Adam Bannon from the Reverse Scoop calling it a night. Thank you very much.